Mm-mm. Okay, now that we're out of quarantine, we're going to learn something for today. We're going to talk about cell phones. A lot of us have the cell phones, but a lot of us, well, a lot of you guys only use them to make phone calls. And some of you don't do that very well, but that's okay. We're here. We help. Uh, Learning all the things that a cell phone can do makes it seem a little more tasteful to pay that monthly bill. So we're going to learn some of them, not everything, because I'm still learning an awful lot of them. The idea of the first mobile phone came up in 1947 in Bell Labs. And the reason that it didn't go anywhere from that point was they couldn't get the FCC to give them channels to work on the project. So they fought with the government, 50s, 60s. 1973, the first handheld cell phone was presented by a man named John F. Mitchell and Martin Cooper, who also worked for Motorola. It was approximately 2.5 pounds to 4 pounds, depending on the antenna and stuff, and was about 10 inches long. So technically, this was your cell phone. This was your antenna, except it was a lot bigger around, kind of like the hot dogs we're having for dinner tonight. Took a full 10 hours to charge the cell phone. And out of that 10 hours, you got a whopping 30-minute conversation. And then on the phone. And it came with the wonderful everyday low price of $3,995. That's picture that I have on the table with the man, like he's got a shoe up against his head, it's so big. And that information I found, amazingly enough, on a site called Red Orbit. And that was dated July 14th, 2014. My first cell phone was in 1998. It was about this size. It was a flip phone. Cost me $100 a month. I had 30 minutes of talk time on it, and it did nothing else. Now, for this one, I pay $40 a month, and it does everything under the sun. You guys have seen this on my med card. Many things that you can do is with Google, which is this generation's Encyclopedia Britannica, at a much less expense, and it's always up to date. Now, something that I have found entertaining is you can read books, old books, new books. You can read magazines, newspapers. In fact, they can read to you. It's kind of neat. You can listen to music, play movies, watch TV. I know you guys walk up and down the hallways and you hear me playing my music, either some big band or 50s and 60s music. Just depends on my mood. You can play games. I've seen some of you guys playing games on your phones, which is kind of neat. You can pull up a map and get directions to wherever you want to go. You do have to use a little bit of common sense when using it, though. They have calendars on them that you can put in the date and the time, and it will give you a warning to let you know, hey, you're supposed to be here at this time. In fact, I know a couple of you, I've set your alarms so that you are awake For church on Sunday mornings, we won't tell any secrets on who that is. They have clocks and alarms on them. Like I said, you can check the weather on them, which I find extremely useful here because, okay, one of the things that I do is I turn on the Seward County Sheriff, and because the way it's done is the sheriffs go out, they sit around, they watch for the storm, they call 911, 911 flips the switch and turns on the sirens. Well, I kind of take the middleman out because we can't hear much inside this building. So I have the scanner on my phone and I can keep track of the radar. So far this year, knock on wood, we haven't needed it. Maybe we won't, hoping we won't. You can write and receive emails, good way to keep up with your family. You can also Skype or FaceTime, and I've noticed a couple of you do that on your like tablets or your notes, which I think is really cool. They also come with phone books in them. Awesome thing. You can actually type in anybody's name and it'll tell you if it's a landline. I haven't gotten anything yet saying cell phone numbers. And you can also make phone calls, which is kind of cool. Now, according to US Switch, dated December 1st of 2016, they expect to make holographic images with cell phones anytime now. The coolest thing they said was flexible phones. So you could actually bend your phone and snap it onto your wrist. How cool would that? I wouldn't lose my phone all the time. CNN, July 7th of 2014, predicted that we would be able to talk to our phones instead of type into our phones, which, believe it or not, we do. You can carry your credit card along with you. So instead of having your physical credit card, you would have a picture of your credit card and you just slide it and it would bill your credit card or your bank card. Again, this is something that happens. You can do it. The other thing is instead of plugging into a wall, CNN predicts that we will have recharging pads, which is also kind of neat. This was one of my first phones, tiny little thing. Then, believe it or not, this was the next phone, and the next phone, and the next phone. And somehow I think I'm going back to that big shoe that weighs 2.5 pounds. But I really don't know how well I would function without my cell phones. This is a good way to keep in touch with your family and your friends. I have seen a couple of your family members call because they get worried about you, and you can answer it because the phone is right there with you. So if you want to learn anything more about your phone, hit the home button, go to the startup screen. It's got all kinds of neat stuff. If you want something special, let me know. I am always around to help you guys. So we learned a lot. Have a good night.
Would you like an oatmeal spice cookie? I don't know. I have a